Hey, Kevin, you praying?
Yeah, I'm praying to the plasma cutter God here. I'm trying to decipher all the symbols on the side of this brand new AHP AlphaCut 60. This is their first entry into the plasma cutter field.
Oh.
Yeah. So 60 amp plasma, dual voltage. So you got 60 amps on 220, drops down to 40 amps, I believe it is, on 110. And just a nice little basic machine. So 60 amps, that ought to give you about an inch, 3/4 to an inch worth of severance, so probably 3/4 cut, 1 inch severance cut. Nice torch, good size. It's got a good safety on the trigger so you don't accidentally light it off. Consumables, I think, are pretty available for this kind of torch. This is a blowback torch instead of a high frequency start. So what that means is you don't have to grind your metal off. You don't have to get rid of the paint, the rust, whatever. If it's in the way, blow right on through it. That's the beauty of the blowback design rather than the high frequency start design. Come here, let me show you the panel. So we got our on-off light and a warning indicator, a circuit breaker style on-off switch on the front of the machine rather than on the back. Thank you very much. Your post-flow control on your air from 0 to 60 seconds. And then a dual amperage knob here. The inside is for 110 volts. The outside is for 220 volts. And then the pressure gauge and a pressure regulator. So all your controls, everything you need, right here on the front of the machine. Just got an air connector on the back where you plug your air hose in from your air compressor, and the power cord, just plug that in. But nice little setup. The torch just hooks up here on the front with a nut. It's got a ground, and then your trigger control for the torch, and then your ground for your work itself. So pretty basic little machine. So let me get some glasses on and we'll fire it up and see what it'll do. So let me see, I got a piece of 1-inch plate here. I've got a little tiny piece of 18 gauge. And I got a piece of 1/2 inch. It's got some welds going across it. So we got some nice uneven territory to maneuver across. And I thought, well, let me just fire the machine up. We'll turn it down nice and low, down to about 20 amps or so. And we'll play on this 18 gauge. Then I can bump it up about halfway, get after this 1/2 inch piece, crank it all the way up. We'll try that 1 inch and see how it does. So let me get all this nonsense on.
What is that nonsense?
Oh, this is a welding fumes respirator. Just because of the amount of ick that comes off of the metal when you're cutting. This will help keep me from having to breathe all that nonsense. You guys should be wearing it too. Okay, so 20 amps, little 18 gauge. Let's see what we do here. So that works pretty easy. A little bit of dross on the back side, but should clean up just fine. So let me crank it from 20 amps up to about 40 amps, I guess, about mid-range on the gauge, and we'll try this piece of 1/2 inch. Can you see the cut in here? Pretty smooth, nice and smooth. A little bit of dross, probably just chip right off. Sweet. And it seemed like a decent cutting speed. You know, I wasn't going really slow, I wasn't going really fast. You know, just a nice little cutting speed. Went right through. Okay, so let me crank it up full bore and we'll take on a piece of 1 inch here. Okay, so now we're at 60 amps and 90 PSI. So let's see what we get here. Let me set that one over when I'm not sitting on top of that weld. Well, that's actually pretty good. That does better than the other 60 amp machine I got in there. A little bit slower. You know, that first time I started, I had a weld that I was trying to go right along the top of, so that was giving me a few little problems. Moved over to just a bare piece of plate and started over again. Nice and smooth. That little bit of wobble I'll take blame for, but boy, a nice cut right through there. That's cool. Well, no, it's hot, but it's cool. You know what I mean. So boy, if you guys are looking for a plasma, there it is, right there. Oh yeah, 800 bucks. 800 bucks. Dual voltage, 60 amp plasma cutter. It's gonna be fun. You guys go hit that subscribe button for me. I'm gonna go get some more metal to play with, and I'll see you guys next week. So once again, Thanksgiving approaches, and it's time for a new recipe. Dude, frog's legs?